The Fearless Podcast, in a time of deceit, telling the truth, is a revolutionary act. All right, y'all, we're back, and this is episode 69.
Episode 69.
And somehow Matt has squeezed us into his schedule.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
actually, the rain helped out a lot.
Yeah, the
which has
rain
been awesome.
helped out. It's been quite a while since it has rained. I like to call it liquid sunshine.
Mm-hmm.
And God is good. It'd be raining. And so we're here bringing you the truth as we know it. And I wanted to talk today. You're going to be hearing like thunder boomers and stuff probably in the background. So there's going to be some nice ambiance. You're welcome. And I'm glad that Matt was able to start on time and that we are recording. I really wish that all podcast subscribers had the joy and the opportunity of understanding all of the tech daemons and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Because without fail, every single solitary time you think you got everything ironed out and everything's tuned in and keyed in, without fail, something catastrophically fails. And you want to produce a good product. You want to try to save yourself different types of like renderings and filterings and editing. And we're trying to do like my goal and hope is I definitely want to do the one take wonder. And if that means we start over, then we start over.
Yep.
Because that's what we have time for. We have time for the one take wonder because we're doing many things. We're function stacking. We're multitasking.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about entrepreneurship. You know, we are a small homestead and it is a collaborative family effort. And the reason that one of our core tenets of what we desire to teach and train and rear and ingrain into our children is entrepreneurship, largely in part because of the great American experiment. This is foundational and fundamental to all things that made this country great. You know, we want to have these platitudes and talk about make America great again. Well, one of the things that made America great is the freedom that God provided here in America allowed folks and families and children and heirs and all those things to be entrepreneurial, to try and to do, and how that was deconstructed with the socialist, communist, Marxist is through the Prussian schooling system. That Prussian government model says, go to work so you can get a good education, so you can get a good job, so you can get a good pension, you know, and that was
then you can retire.
The Prussian model, the Weimar, the retire, and that is a broken system that was designed to collapse and fail on itself. And the Weimar system was scheduled that you retired after your date of death. So this way, the state got to keep all the money. And that's why I think retirement plans are a scam and all that different stuff. That's why we don't participate in retirement plans because they're government schemes to lock in your money for forever, and you get to use it when you're dead and you don't have access to it. And we do lots of different strategies that involve private family banking and all kind of cool stuff like that. But we don't participate in retirement plans. One of those many reasons, but that's not to get off on a rabbit trail, but retirement plans used to be defined benefit. And that's when these were contractual obligations with a fixed rate of return, with a clearly defined outcome that was 100% predictable, for lack of a better term. And when they decided to steal everybody's money, they shifted from defined benefit to defined contribution. Now it's not the end result, and it's not stable and easy to project. Now it is like No, how much money can you put in? How long can we lock this up for? We can run a projection and we can formulate an average rate of return, and we can pretend that you're going to have all this money in the future and it's magical. And we just so happen to be able to scrape off proceeds off the top and lock you in and tax rate and when you finally get to touch it. It's a scheme and it's a scam. It's a Ponzi scheme and it's run by the government. And who is surprised? And every time they give you a tax benefit, the strings attached to it, we should not be surprised. I think what was
Fool me once,
the great thinker?
shame on you. It fooled me, we can't get fooled again.
Thank you, George. Those are words to live by, y'all. And I couldn't have said it better myself. I literally couldn't have said that as eloquently as George W. And so, words of wisdom. So I wanted to talk about entrepreneurship, why it's important, why we teach and train our kids entrepreneurship. It is a quintessential building block to education, in my opinion, is part of the education learning process, developing skills and trades to in a capitalistic market, in a you know, and we can all have that debate too of what capitalism is. Capitalism's dead, and we are Austrian economists here, and we believe in free market, and that has clearly shown itself the best market that there is and the best way to capitalize on these different things. But I just went blank.
But yeah, I would definitely say with how you've always raised us kids is just like always trying to make, you know, at least for me, it was trying to make everything I touched into a business or trying to make $1 off of something. And then, you know, and that went from me. I was mowing our own yard and everything like that. And then mom and dad would pay me for mowing the yard. But then it led into learning that skill, very simple skill, led into me getting in with a neighbor, and I started lawn mowing, and I did lawn care for a little over 2 years, and, you know, $20 here, $20 there. And then I was able to save up that money with my brothers. And then we were able to invest in tools and all that type of stuff to just build.
Don't bring your problems to the market.
Yeah.
Bring value, right?
Yeah,
that's Jim Rohn. Bring your solutions, and if you bring value and you bring solutions to the market,
Yep.
the market will see your value, appreciate your value, and it will return to you. And you know, now we live in a society of takers, and they want to come to the market and they want to extract from the market. They don't want to bring anything. They don't want to bring ideas. They don't want to bring thoughts to the market. They want basic universal income. They want to be paid for existing. They want to be paid for showing up. They want the participation trophy. They have things like time blindness, and they have all these other riddled ADD ailments that prohibit them from being productive, prohibit them from having a free thought that was actually not thought for them by the social, taught to them by the bleeding, blue-haired, purple breathers and like and such as and all these others. But this fundamental building block of entrepreneurial mindset and entrepreneurism is what this country, it was the opportunity. It's not a defined outcome, right? We all don't, the outcome should not be guaranteed. We should all be given an opportunity. And the opportunity is the opportunity to present your value to the marketplace, to present your solution, to present your finely honed skill. So we teach our children, learn skills, learn things of value,
Mhm.
learn trades of value that you can bring to the marketplace, and in turn the marketplace will respond and it will reward you, trade you, or exchange you for that value.
Yeah.
Therefore, there's not an age, it's not a number. Well, once you're 30, you can bring your value to the marketplace. And unfortunately, in this technocratic age of this technocratic scientific boom, right? We've elevated all of these deep state plants like Bill Gates and Elon Musker Doodle and all these guys, right? And oh, these guys were so great. They were so smart. They started in their garage and they had this great idea and now they're billionaires. And then come to find out, when you study the real history behind that, their parents, Bill Gates' dad was big Planned Parenthood and he was deep state funding and all this stuff. Elon Musk's parents owned an emerald mine. He wasn't he didn't
Dirt farmer.
scratch his way over here and then crawl his way to the top, and now he's the largest government contractor, that the DOD has, and he's making billions and everything's tax deferred and he can do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
And he can pollute whatever river he wants to pollute. And, and he's a great American, all that stuff. But so unfortunately, these puppets have been propped up as like heroes and whatever. And in a previous era, before there was information and now that the information is so prevalent and you can see the histrionics and how it's been rewritten, we should have new heroes, and our children are our heroes and we set them up to succeed, and the learning process is predicated upon experimenting, try and do. And if you enjoy it, if you're passionate about it, try it. If you're successful, do more of it. If you're successful, do better. If you're successful, maybe all you have to do is get faster at what you do. There's lots of ways to scale. There's lots of ways to exponentially expand, but that is how you get that's how you get buy-in. That's how you get your kids to participate. That's how you have a homestead. When you look at a homestead as just like a dichotomy of a business, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
And when you look at like regenerative agricultural practices and function stacking and creating value, and I mean, these building blocks, this whole entrepreneurial building block as an analogy can really apply to almost every aspect of your life. That's why I think it's so quintessentially important. And you have to have what? You have to have that pioneering spirit, right? You have to have the will to try, and how you give your children the will to try is there has to be something there.
Yeah.
They have to want it. And then all you have to do is fan the flame. All you have to do is, and all my, I grew up super blue collar, no collar, whatever. And we wealthy by any stretch of the imagination. And my mom and dad scratched and clawed. And then in their later years, in my dad's 60s, they started to slowly acquire very inexpensive rental properties. And that was their retirement strategy. And it served them well. And neither of my parents had a college education. And now in retrospect, I mean, that's even better. Unfortunately, I went to college for 7 years and all that stuff. That's why I got a 7-year late start to life. I got a 7-year delayed start behind the 8 ball with college debt. And here my son, who's 19, doesn't have that delayed start. He doesn't have any of that debt. He has a property to build a house on.
Because how much debt did you acquire in 7 years? Do you remember?
Your mom and I, we paid our way all the way through college.
Okay.
Out of pocket. So technically, we wouldn't have had any debt. And then we met we transferred to State College. When we got there, we wanted to get married.
Mhm.
So I told her, I said, take every student loan that they'll give you. So what we did, and here's a gangster move, gangster finance, y'all. So we were paying our way through.
Sounds like a new book.
And we got what were they called? The subsidized loans. I forget what the subsidized loans were called, Stafford loans or something like that.
Mhm.
And so I said, look, take every loan that you can get. So we got subsidized, unsubsidized loans. Took the money because I needed to buy books, stuff like that.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah.
and we put it a 20% down on our first house. So the only reason we had any college loans, so we had these subsidized college loans that I set up on an automatic payment plan, and so we were paying an interest rate of 2.75. So back when, so our first house we bought in 1999, and our mortgage rate at the time was 9.99, and everybody, I thought that was ridiculous. Everybody thought it was ridiculous. It was much better than 15%, and this is way before the days of like 2 and 3% and all that stuff.
Mhm.
But our 20% deposit, we bought the smallest house in the nicest neighborhood,
Mm.
and we put 20% down, and we used all of our college loans to do it. I was making $7.50 as an intern at the time when we bought our house.
Mm.
And within 3 years, we bought that house for $71,000. Within 3
Okay.
years, we sold it for, I'm sorry, no. We owed 70. We bought that house for 99,000. Within we owed about, I put 20% down. We owed about 70,000. In 3 years, we sold that house for 148,000.
Mhm.
And then we upsized and we moved out into the country on 5 acres,
Mhm.
and we started kind of drifting towards this whole like sustainable homesteading,
Before it was even a thing.
have children, be fruitful, multiply, have critters,
Yeah.
and farm and all this stuff. And that was our journey, and here we are now. But
Okay.
but so that's the only reason we had college debt. 'Cause,
Gotcha. Okay.
your mom and I, we worked hard, we
Mhm.
lived cheap, and we saved all of our money, and we paid our way all the way through. So obviously, we're debt free,
Yeah.
and
We've been. When did y'all finally pay that loan off?
we finally paid that off probably about 6 years ago.
6 years ago. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was quite the ordeal. Yeah, but like you were saying, yeah, just being able to have, I never think about it, that you had 7 years off, delayed. Yeah, it's very interesting. Think about it that way.
It's fascinating to
Yeah.
project how much, like if we just calculated, if we took you right where you are
Mhm.
now and we put you into a 4-year degree program and calculated all of the expenses surrounding that, the housing, transportation, the education, I use that term lightly, the indoctrination,
Very.
and all these different things,
Yeah.
and then project that out for 4 to 6 years or whatever degree,
Mhm.
and then we can project the salary or the associated finances and revenue. And if you really run the numbers, I think it would take you about 20 years to catch up
Mm.
with the type of delay that I had. If you had like a 7-year delay with all of the associated expenses, it would take you about 20 years to just catch up, to honestly be
Mm.
back at break even. Obviously, during that process, you would buy a home and cars and different things. But for a pure rate of return perspective, I don't know if anybody's ever crunched. I'm sure there's lots of nerdy bean counters out there that have probably done those projections. I would love to see it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the power of being debt free, the power, and this is outside of any other types of concepts or private family banking, legacy banking, and private funding, and all those other things. That only exponentially expands just the concept of entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
And what has stifled and destroyed and restricted entrepreneurship is capitalism
Hmm.
is dead. We're in a debt-based economy, debt-based society. If you factor in the unpaid pension liabilities of the federal government, we're 100. I love it how they always want to talk about like 43, 44, $34 trillion, the national debt, $34 trillion. When you factor in the unpaid pension liabilities, it's 100 trillion. You're never, look, you're never getting out. You can cut taxes and you can supposedly do all this stuff. You can fine and charge China and you can charge the UN and NATO and all these stuff. You're never climbing out of that hole ever. You're never even paying the interest on that
Ever. No, they've like done the calculations, and like if you would take all of the money on planet Earth, they wouldn't be able to even like pay off the US
Yeah,
debt.
and there's going to be ramifications to that.
Yeah.
You don't get to spend like a drunk sailor and not have a hangover.
Mm.
And I mean that's an insult to drunk sailors. I apologize
For
to any
real.
drunk sailors out there
Yeah.
that I am correlating you to the District of Criminals. I think Thomas Massey with his debt, his national debt clock pin, he's the only one there that's worth a plugged nickel, and at least he's consistent.
Mm. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
But this pioneering entrepreneurial spirit, it's this self-reliant, self-sufficient mentality. Like it counts on this rests on you. And Matt's at this age, and they started their business, and they've had a ton of success. And as in every business and every cycle, there are cycles, so there's highs and lows.
Yeah.
And when you hit the low spots, because we talk about, I got to get a job, I got to make money. Now wait, listen, wait. You have the high spots, you weather the low spots, and at the end of the year, at the end of the quarter, you're like, oh yeah, wow, yeah, I'm glad I did that. I'm glad I didn't settle for some dumb, stupid, dead end $20 an hour deal, where somebody else is paying me to think, and I'm doing all the heavy lifting, and somebody else is making all the money. And
Yeah, because we started the construction business about a year ago, and then we set our goal. We wrote down our goals for 2024, just like some crazy numbers that we would love to hit in a year. Just like, just the overall year, just in sales and everything. And we were able to hit that in 6 months. So that's like awesome. So I was telling my brother James, I said, anything else that comes in is just bonus practically. So we did set a new goal, and we just doubled it just to see what would happen. But yeah, so yeah, it's definitely been a little bit slow right here, but in this time of the year, it's like Texas winter, I would say, because it's super hot outside, and then all the kids just got back into school and everything. So everybody's kind of like cinching up the belt right now. So for projects, but when these holidays start coming back up, everybody's going to want to start, and the weather starts to cool off. People always want projects done and new stuff constructed and everything like that.
And once again, this is why you have a lot of tools in the tool belt,
Yeah.
and you have utility, just like on the homestead. You can't be locked into one thing.
Yeah.
And so we have multifaceted income streams, and we have access to them. So, I think we have 2 more cows available in September.
Yep.
So we're going to open our email list again for anybody that's looking for some grass-fed, grain-finished beef.
Yeah, we're going to be taking in 2 steers mid-September. So that would mean
ready end of September, first week of October.
Yeah, it probably into October.
Yeah. First or second week in October.
Yep. So if anybody is interested in that and can't wait for the email list to come out, you can just go ahead and email us at countrytexasboys@gmail.com. We sell wholes and halves and quarters too. And we can give you the original Texas Boys website is still up, and I think it still does have the meat page on it.
Mhm.
And all the info's over there, but we're probably about a week and a half or so out from launching the new Texas Boys website with a brand new coffee line and everything. It's going to be really exciting.
And coffee pods.
And coffee pods. And we're going with a new coffee roaster. And funny enough, he's our neighbor.
Yeah.
And
talk about community, y'all.
Yeah.
Talk about homesteaders helping homesteaders.
Yeah, really nice guy, really awesome guy. But anyway, that's super exciting over there. And then
Green coffee, white coffee or green coffee? What is it, Matt?
Yeah, we'll let the cat out of the bag for one of the new coffee types that we're gonna have. It's called a white coffee.
White coffee.
And I'm going to have to.
Hey, y'all. Wait, check your white privilege at the door
Right
when you get your white coffee.
Yeah. So not to get like coffee nerdy with you, but I went with my neighbor into his roastery and like spent half a day there, and it was so incredible, like roasting coffee with him and everything. And I guess there's like there's first crack and then there's second crack, right? So it's when you are
Wait a second. So first you were
beans.
talking about white and now you're talking about crack. All right.
Sorry. So anyway, so the white coffee is right before first crack, and then you know, it's not even necessarily
wow. This is like an allegory or something,
right?
This is amazing.
But anyway, so the thing about white coffee is, to sum it all up, the awesome thing about white coffee is, like, I don't know if it's like per cup or what the measurement is exactly of how much you have to drink, but there's like 300 milligrams of natural caffeine. So it's like stinking
baby. That's what
incredible.
I'm talking about.
And actually the name of our white coffee is going to be named the Firecracker. So it's going to be really cool.
The firecracker. There's another elucidatory term there.
There
the white coffee got the cracker in there. I like it.
Yep. So anyway, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So all types of good stuff.
We were trying to be as absolutely politically incorrect as possible. I know nobody talks about political correctness anymore. That's how the postmodern deconstructionism was baked into the cake by the socialists. Man, that was in the 90s, y'all. That started in the 90s. But yeah, so we got lots of cool stuff happening.
Yeah.
Website will be up in about a week and a half, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
We have some really cool guests coming up on the podcast. So
yeah, we got that coming up. And then
we have our in-person meetup this September 7th.
Yep.
From 10 to 12. We're going to do another potluck. It's going to be at Bob Wells Nursery at Sorella Farms. They have been phenomenal. We've had a great time.
AC.
New faces every time.
Yep.
It's air conditioned.
Yeah, so don't be scared.
And don't be scared, y'all.
You can come on out.
We are in Texas.
We chill out in the AC, or you can chill out outside. And last time we did a tour. So if there's another big group of people that come out, like new folks, we can do a tour again too. Cool. He would be absolutely happy to do a tour. But that was really cool.
Yeah, lots of fun.
Lots of fun.
That's what's happening. That's what's going on. And Bob Wells is a family farm that Ed and Rachel had this idea, and that they were passionate about growing things, passionate about trees, and they liked the whole perennial idea. So they brought their idea to the marketplace, and they have an incredibly successful business. Beautiful family, beautiful business. And these are the building blocks of life. We all need to make money in some form or fashion, and we need to be able to bring our value. We need to be able to exchange our value. And that's why we have the in-person meetups, because we also talk about the parallelism of working outside of the present deconstructed models that are kind of like destined to collapse on themselves, the ones that will require basic universal income and will also come with lots of strings. If you're some kind of like Fed, or you're some kind of like government employee, in order to keep that carrot, you're going to have to jump through all the hoops and do all the things. And so just a little prior planning you could elude and avoid all of that nonsense and all of those hoops you're going to have to jump through to continue to get your carrot. And that's why it's better to start practicing now. Start thinking now, start developing your skills now, start bringing your value to the marketplace and presenting and being able to present it, being able to sell it, and being able to ensure confidence that you can perform and do what you say you can do. And then you demonstrate that. And then you just become that much more marketable, that much more powerful, that much more credible. And then the golden referral starts. And then it's just, I mean, referrals are one of the easiest sales to close that there is.
Yeah.
And you should have a 90% conversion rate. And these are the skills that we teach our children from a young age. You know, Buddy now has his commercial sewing machine, you know, so he started out hand stitching, small scale, doing these tiny things. And now he's had some success. He's honing his skills. He's continuing to bring value to the market. And now he's reinvesting in infrastructure and investing basically all of his money into this like magnificent $4,300 sewing machine. Right.
Yeah.
And now normally you'll be like, oh, that's so risky and that's so dangerous. And here there's this 15-year-old and he saved up all his money and he's going to spend it on a machine.
Yeah.
And a lot of the Prussians and a lot of the school kids and a lot of the UBIers and all this stuff. Well, what if the machine breaks, or aren't you afraid? What if nobody buys your stuff?
Sure. Yeah. You got the doubters out there, and
yeah. The contrarian view and the doubters, you can always deconstruct something. There never was a statue erected of a critic. You know, and I realize we've ripped down a lot of statues and we're unfamiliar with who Robert E. Lee was. I mean, but we want to praise Elon Musk and Donald Trump.
Yeah, right.
And we want to tear down Robert E. Lee's statue. But there's a story there. There's something to all that. But many people would tell you all the reasons why that couldn't work, that wouldn't work, that shouldn't work. But if you give your child latitude to try and find out what they enjoy, and then give them the freedom and the ability to pursue that and support them through the process, they can achieve great things in the field that they are passionate about. And then they won't have to start with a 7-year delay that's predicated and built upon social pressures. And you know why I went to college? I went to college because, well, that's what you're supposed to do.
That's just what you do. Yeah.
That's what everybody did.
Yeah.
That's what my brother did. That's what my sister did. My mom was valedictorian of her class and she didn't get to go. So that was like make mom proud kind of thing.
Yeah.
And go and do that. And I got started 7 years late. Another way to say that is retarded. And I've kind of been retarded ever since then. So,
and he's allowed to say that because he's saying it to himself, not to other people.
Well, yeah. And I am the dictionary definition of retarded. And I've said that very often, that I'm kind of retarded. And then, you know, there's,
your mother would say autistic.
My mother would, she would personally diagnose me as autistic. I love you, Mom. She's probably right. But, that is a inside family joke.
Yeah.
That's inside baseball, y'all. But,
that's funny. Yeah. But yeah.
So what do you think, Matt, about the process? I mean, we're speaking to families, fathers, sons, mothers, daughters, the family unit. What do you say about how oppressive? I mean, first off, you've been deprived of government schooling, government socialization, because we know that you couldn't possibly be socialized in your neighborhood with your neighbors or in your community or at the hardware store or at all these places of commerce and business, right? No, you have to disinfect it and you got to package it in a prison, like on a good prison planet. You're going to send them to a penitentiary, you know, one of these rebranded government school systems that's built just like a minimum security prison, like exactly like a minimum security prison, same specs and everything.
Yeah.
So you have to sanitize everything.
Mhm.
You have to send them there so they won't be scared. You paint this orange cheese wagon, and they're so invalid
Mhm.
and they're so decrepit and ephemeral that you have to pick them up
Yeah.
at the end of their driveway.
Yeah.
Dude, back in my day, we had to walk
Yeah.
to the bus stop.
Through the snow,
And
uphill both ways.
30 of the scariest, dirtiest kids. And then you had to survive.
Survive the bus ride.
But no, you had to survive before the bus got there.
Oh, gotcha.
So you had to just survive.
Nice.
So there was a couple different tactics. You either hung back, you were the slacker, and you drug your feet. So that way the bullies and the ne'er-do-wells, you know, all of those people that help make you so socially compatible, where you get all that, you know, all the cliques and all the little groups and the greasers and the preppers and the gothers and the emus and all that stuff, right? You know, all of that great socialization that you get from those fabulous groups of people, when most of the time it's like, I just don't want to get beat up.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't want to get beat up. I don't want to have to defend myself today. I certainly don't want to hurt anybody today. I'm just trying to go to school and get my indoctrination on and then go home and watch copious amounts of television. And that's all I'm trying to do. And I know if I dry, rinse, repeat, and I do that over and over again, they'll eventually let me out on good behavior, you know, and then I will self-induce, like torture myself more and finance it myself. So instead of it being like state funded from my parents' tax dollars,
then you pay
then
for
I
it.
will pay out of pocket to be tortured for 7 more years and be retarded. And thank you. You're welcome.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's definitely very interesting. I would say for anybody that is like, if you have an idea and you want to like go out and do it and like test it out, definitely not to be afraid of it, because I was in a class once, actually online class, and they were talking about not staying in your comfort zone, but getting into that stretch zone and even getting close to that break zone.
What kind of class were you in?
I was in the, what's that class called?
Autonomy season 10?
Yes, I was in Autonomy season 10.
Well, how did you do
class.
that? Like who paid for that? Like, and who regulates that? Who schedules that? Like, how does that even exist?
Yeah, so dad bought it for me and him to do. And yeah, it was really good. I got on there with a group and I went through a couple of the videos that are on there, but not all of them at all, barely.
Tisk.
I was barely able to do the meetings, but the crazy thing is I started applying the things that we talked about to the construction company, and literally the construction company like blew up.
Sure.
And I was like, I'm so sorry, I can't attend
Paid for itself.
anymore. Like, yeah, like literally, I was like, I'm so sorry. I had to text the head lady. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I don't want my schedule to mess up anybody else's schedule. So I'm going to have to drop out.
Okay, hold up. Stop.
Yeah.
Is Autonomy accredited?
Accredited, like,
I mean, if it's a school of higher learning and it's going to count, it's got to be accredited. So, I mean, has it been accredited? Because if it hasn't been accredited, it's obviously worthless. And if you can't transfer the credits to a government institution, I mean, how could it possibly be worth your time, money, investment, and all those things? I mean, I think explain this.
The main thing is that if you have success in it, I mean, there you go. That's the proof's in the pudding.
Uh-oh.
And like
results. Huh?
Yeah, results.
A meritocracy. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. I don't even think the course was meant to be as I used it. Like, it was like I was just with normal people, and they were like, "Oh yeah, you should like set some goals and stuff, and we'll just be your accountability partner buddies," you know? And there was like all the rest of the people on there were just like trying to get through with life, and they were like just starting their little side hustles, and then other people that were like just trying to figure out what they were doing. And I was like, well, I know what I'm doing. I just need to try to figure out what I'm struggling with and why my company isn't taking off how I liked it uh to do. And I was able to talk to some people on there that, hadn't really done anything, but just with able
Mastermind.
yeah, just be able to mastermind with them. And then we were able to figure out that I was just having um like a scheduling issue with trying to schedule things out and staying on track throughout the day and getting almost like burnout. So that was really awesome. So it doing that and keeping everything scheduled throughout my day stops me from burning out. So then I have time to pretty much do anything and everything that I want throughout the day with being able to work full time. So yeah, and then after doing that, when everything's on the schedule, there's no, oh, I forgot to do that, or whatever. So you're way more productive and
Yeah,
everything
and
like
and
that.
the beauty of autonomy, it's a lifetime membership. You can pick up the class again
Mm-hmm.
whenever you hit that wall, whenever you need something to push you to the next level.
Yeah.
You can participate in the
Yeah.
community and pick that back up. But it provided you with exactly what you needed
Yeah.
to have an exponential rate of return. So it
Yeah.
worked absolutely perfectly,
Yeah.
even though you only participated in maybe 5% of any of it.
Yeah. Literally barely any of it.
Yeah.
Like barely any of it because I was so busy with the business and everything like that. I was pretty much just able to complete my assignments that I had made with them, goals for the week. And it was like, okay, I made yard signs this week, or okay, I got 3 or 4 Google reviews, requested or whatever, and just doing that type of stuff and just being held accountable for these goals that I set. And yeah, and then just got literally just blew up so fast. I was like, I got to tap out. So that was really cool. But yeah, diversifying your income, I've seen that to be really, really good. And then also always having like plan A or plan B always in your back pocket for income. Like, something that was doing pretty well, but I would have to like, if I was going to start it back up again, I would have to figure out like a better way to do it. But I was doing a lot of sawmilling, and that's another thing. The sawmill's still out there, still in good working shape and everything like that. So if there did come a time where the construction company did slow down or something like that, or if I needed to make some extra money, I have that tool on hand. And then also with selling cows and selling pigs and everything like that.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of selling pigs, I think we're going to offer a couple.
Yeah.
I know we've been
Yeah.
trying to flesh that out.
Yep.
Maybe in September. So if you're interested in any
Pork.
we're going to be offering that again soon. Send us an email,
Mhm.
countrytexasboys@gmail.com.
Yeah, we'll be sending out a email to everybody.
Yeah,
as
make
well.
sure that you're on our email list,
Mhm.
TheTexasBoys.com. Make
Then
sure you're on our email
yep.
list, and you'll be notified of the local meetups. You'll be
Yep.
notified when we
You
have
scroll all
more
the way
beef
down.
and
So you
pork
go to the
available.
home page on the TexasBoys.com. You scroll down all the way down to the bottom, and then it just says join our email list, and you'll just put in your email.
And you will also be notified when the new website is up and running.
Yes.
There should be multiple payment options on there.
Yep.
Maybe we'll even like embed some crypto options
Maybe.
from a donation standpoint. I don't know if we want to get into like, I would love to offer our products for crypto.
Sure. It just gets more complicated.
Yeah, we're going to have different kind of membership
Yeah.
and donation functions too, so that if you just want to support value for value, and you appreciate what we do, and you get value out of it, and it adds value to your life. So, you know, I enrolled Matt and I in Autonomy 10, and it was a tremendous value. It wasn't cheap, but it was a tremendous value, and we got exponential value back out of that, and it more than paid for itself, say tenfold.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing that we try to provide value here. If you find it beneficial, you know, support us, whether it's however you want to do that, whether it's just sharing, whether it's leaving a 5-star review.
Yeah.
If you want to communicate back and forth, the Fountain app is great. We used to get a lot of interaction on the Fountain app through the podcast, and you can drop sats and boost stuff over there, and we can communicate back and forth. Also leave us a 5-star on either Apple or Spotify. Those are the two major podcasters that we get the most streams on.
Yeah, but we just wanted to get on here tonight and just try to encourage some people out there that, you know, maybe you're going through a slow point in your life, or maybe you're young and you're just getting started and you're like, you know, should I go down the college route? You know, maybe there'll be one person out there that'll watch this and maybe reconsider some things, you know, or some other opportunities or some cool ideas to, you know, if you don't have any siblings to like partner up with, maybe you can find some friends or some family members, or some older gentlemen to partner up with and get started on some type of idea or project. Because right now the world is kind of your oyster and you just got to kind of do it. Because everybody is always looking for some new product to buy or some new service, because, you know, nobody's doing any work anymore. So if you can, you know, improve somebody's life, you know, people will eat that stuff up all day long.
And with the amount of takers in our society, it's so much easier to bring value and to bring solutions. And maybe you're not some 19-year-old whippersnapper that's wet behind the ears. Maybe you're some 40-year-old dude that's in some dead-end job or some soul-crushing job, or maybe you're in some kind of job that made you like shoot things into your body and all that stuff, and they abused and manipulated you, and as the last flog over the head, they made you do some experimental process to yourself. And there's so many reasons why you might need to just take the next step, and that's all that we're trying to do, is encourage you to just do it. Same thing with like, you know, oh, I don't like where I live, I don't like this whole thing, I don't like the apartment. Move. You know what I mean? It's the exact same thing.
While you can.
You have do something while you can, you know, and take advantage of the opportunities that are currently in front of you. And you can't be like a Debbie Downer and, you know, the little dirt cloud boy with the rain cloud over his head or all that stuff. Pigpen, or you can't climb the ladder of success dressed in the costume of a clown. You know, this whole technocratic Google battle. I work for Google, and I'm like, I got a man bun, and I wear loafers and shorts and a pink button-up T-shirt, and
it's actually Sam.
I'm you know, it's such a great place to work now that they're laying everybody off, right? So deconstruct it, right? And then ditch everybody. That is it's a pipe dream. It no longer exists. It's certainly not anything that you should shoot for or desire. You got to be captain of your own ship. You got to steer your own vessel. And maybe it's not this romantic, sexy thing like tech or whatever. Maybe it's HVAC, maybe it's electrical, maybe it's plumbing, maybe it's these real world, real trade things that you can implement.
We were digging a ditch today.
Digging a ditch for money.
For money.
Check that out.
Because I'm like, well, things are slow.
Sounds
and
expensive.
I'm gonna price this thing right so I can be out there. And I woke up at 5:30 today. Us three brothers did.
How responsible.
And we got out there by around 7:00, and because we had to load up tools and everything, and we just started digging, and we had to dig about 2 feet down and about 80 feet long, and
30 million invaders are need you to get up and go to work, son.
Mm,
So
yeah,
somebody's got to
real.
pay for their EBT card.
Right.
All right.
Right.
So get up early and go to work.
Mm,
I mean, look what you have to look
Yeah.
forward to.
yeah. And I'm trying to build this house, and then they're going to be like, oh, yeah, we're going to have to tax you on that too. So I'm like,
Yes.
oh, I got to save up for that.
Welcome
Too.
to America.
Yeah. Tax you on everything.
I was
so,
talking to a customer today, and he was explaining his property tax, and I was
Oh,
like, what an awesome scheme to never own
Mm.
anything ever.
mm,
And you know, they keep talking about, well, property tax relief is a joke, but they keep talking about abolishing property tax in Texas. And look, hey, APB, whoever wants to come on and whoever is actively, aggressively working on that in Texas, I know Don Huffines keeps talking about it. But if you want to come on and you want to talk about it, you have an open door on
just
the
like,
Fearless
make that
podcast.
happen.
Yeah, let's
Like,
abolish. There was a large surplus last year. The surplus never gets
Stupid.
returned to the taxpayer. So let's
it just
abolish
gets
that
slurped
junk
up.
and
Yeah.
and move on to the next liberating project
Yeah.
that doesn't involve enslaving and taxing us into oblivion
Yeah. And killing babies. Yeah.
and killing babies. Yeah.
But all right, y'all. That's it. I think we got all the updates in too.
Hey, look, y'all. The only way you're going to step out and do it is you're going to have to be fearless, my friends.